Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is John Doe Juggalo, or Jeff. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Before we get started today, if you wouldn't mind just hitting that subscribe button, let's like the video and hit that bell notification as well, so that way you don't miss any more of these conversations we got coming up. Hey guys, so today we're going to be discussing Chucky. You know, if he's back, we're back.
Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about Chucky Season 3, Episode 5. Now, I actually don't remember what this one was called. Do you? I think it was something kind of like obscure, but I don't even remember.
Yeah, so it's called Death Becomes Her.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So what did you think of it?
I thought parts of it were really good. It's definitely like, it almost feels like kind of like another setup to, I mean, it's like a setup to the back half, but it almost feels like it's like entirely set up because honestly, just not a lot happens in the episode. It's a lot of padding out to pad out the runtime and to also develop the characters as well. Like, it's not just like completely filler or anything, but in terms of like very like significant moments, there's not a lot of it. There's just a lot of like, it just feels like set up for like what the last 3 episodes are gonna be.
Yeah, like plot building, character flesh out, character building, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of emphasis on the Joseph character.
Yeah.
Which is the younger brother of the first family, who passed away, and we find out in this episode he passed away from a sickness that no one could have helped. It wasn't like a freak accident or anything like that. It was just, I mean, I guess it probably was still a freak accident, but he got sick.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything preventable.
Yeah, and you know, like, and he does play a big part, and it also and his character plays a big part into like what they're doing supernaturally, because they're diving a lot more into the supernatural elements of the franchise, like pretty heavy-handed to the point where it just feels kind of absurd in this episode, because like the first 4 episodes there wasn't too much of it. There was like a hint of it, but mostly it was dealing with Chucky's side of the supernatural and Damballa and all that stuff. And this is definitely focusing on the different side of the supernatural angle of the franchise, and I think that's what's a little like, it's kind of off-putting because it's just so heavy-handed and you don't really understand what's even happening. There's just so much, like, especially with like, it's just like ghosts and spirits, and it feels like it fits in the world, but it also feels so out of place in a way. But you know, obviously we have to see the next 3 episodes to really decide or whatever on how we feel about it, since they're just setting it up, and we're really setting it up now to like in the forefront for what we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, just talking about his physician, like, gave a lot of I guess backstory. You know, he explained to the boys what was happening to Chucky.
Yeah,
and that he is for real this time dying. His soul or spirit, as they say, tomato, is going to move on this time. He is, elephant in the room, he is really, really old this whole episode. Like, so old that he's just kind of laying in bed like an old man most of the time. Yeah,
that's what and that's something else that, you know, is very noticeable in the episode. Chucky doesn't have a lot of screen time. When he's on screen, though, he has good moments, for sure. Yeah. Very good moments, but he's just, you know, definitely a little bit more back half.
Yeah.
When it comes to what's going on.
Like when Chucky was sitting there watching all the different doll movies.
Yeah.
And he goes through, what was that one? Was that Boyhood or Boy? Is that what it's called?
Boy.
The Boy.
Yeah.
And then he goes into, what was the next one? It wasn't Annabelle.
No, it was some like doll from some franchise.
It was Dead Silence. That's it. The doll from Dead Silence. Yeah. And he's like, he didn't even get a franchise.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. We should watch that sometime.
Yeah.
And then they went into Megan, where he like basically was like, she stole my moves, and you know, all that.
Yeah.
M3 again, he says.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty fun. Those jabs. What do you think about the character building in this episode?
I really like what they did with Devon Sawa's character because
Yes.
he definitely gets like when it comes to like main characters, he gets forefront for sure in terms of like kind of his struggles when it comes to like this supernatural stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
He's seeing so much stuff happening, and he thinks he's going crazy, and he's like really he's shook in like the entire episode.
Yeah.
And so
He's just kind of losing his mind.
yeah,
really.
yeah. He feels like he's losing his mind. He feels like So I really liked what they did with his character.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Devon Sawa's been a big, I don't know, like a big proponent of why this series works. I think he's a really good actor, and he gets different roles every season.
Yeah.
And it just seems like he does better and better with each role he's given. Like if there's another season of this, and he gets another role, I'm sure it's going to be just as good as this role of him as the president.
Yeah, because definitely, like, even going into season 2, I was like, oh my god, they're going to recast him. Like, that just feels a little corny. But he did really good as the priest in season 2, and then in season 3 being the president. Like, I think he definitely, he has good range, and it just feels like a different character. Like, I'm not looking at that and thinking, well, that was Jake's dad from season 1. That doesn't really cross my mind ever, Like, he does a good job at portraying.
Yeah, I don't really think about that either, because he played 2 characters in season 1.
Yeah.
And they both died.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he just keeps dying, I guess. I mean, he gets like... In the second one, he was the priest, right? So like his head exploded, isn't it?
Yeah, his whole body
Yeah, his whole body exploded.
Yeah.
That was kill of the season. Well, what did you think about, besides his character, what did you think about, the other characters, the teenagers?
Okay, with Jake and Devin, I like what they're doing with their characters. Like, I like that they're bringing them closer together because you never know what's going to happen in these next few episodes. So it's glad, like, right now they're on good terms because throughout the 3 seasons they've been kind of, on and off and on and off, it seems like. But I feel like there was so much dedicated screen time to what they were doing, and they had like one scene that was important with the he's really like a voodoo doctor is really what he is at the end of the day.
I was saying the physician.
Yeah, that's what he's labeled as.
He's labeled as a physician, but he only has, how'd they put that? He's only promised, or he's only taken one oath, and it's the oath to uphold Damballa.
yeah.
Because he said that he couldn't say something about his patient due to the doctor oath, and they were like, "Hey, on the website it says."
yeah. But with all that, like with Jake and Devin, like that scene, I think because that was part of us building the story, and the rest of the stuff is fine too. Like characters can go off and do their own things for a little bit. But it felt a little heavy-handed and a little like, okay, it's dragging, let's go. But that's just me. There's a lot of people who really, really like them two and their relationship and want to see it develop. And I do too, but just maybe not as much as other people. Because it kind of annoyed me personally. Just because, to me, it felt like there was just way too much screen time dedicated to stuff that wasn't really even developing the story.
Okay. Well, like that girl, Lexi. How she just went and reverted right back to like, I need to go ahead and mess around with the president's son again and all that, and like that's just, I don't know, that seemed too easy.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was alright, like that, but at the same time that didn't really even bother me too much because that was like I think halfway through the episode, and then you don't even see Grant and Lexi again for the entire rest of the episode. So I actually kind of even forgot about what they did.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he didn't want nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's just like, I'm sorry, and like that's it. That's all that happened. That was way too easy of a forgiveness.
Yeah.
For using him, which she's going to probably use him again if. Well, past repeats itself.
Yeah.
Right, so, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about Devon Sawa again. He dies in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the, so far, best kill of the season, and probably will continue to stay that way, because so far he has 3 for 3 of best kills of the season. I know he's been killed 4 times, but one of those in season 1 was better than the other, so he's 3 for 3 on best kills thus far, in my opinion. What did you think about that? The makeup and the aesthetics had to have been a lot of time to go into that.
Yeah, like it was, because at first when he like bit like the skin off of his cheek, like I was like, okay, and then he went full on like gouging his eyes out. It was nasty, but it was so cool.
Yeah, and he just gouges the eyes out.
Yeah,
pops them out.
Yeah, and then they just roll on the floor. It looked so good. The effects on that looked good. And then the final shot of the episode when it's like panning up and you see like his whole face and him laying there, and it looks cool. It looked really good. They pulled that off really well.
Yeah. Oh, I will tell you. So when we first watched it, we watched it on cable. Mm-hmm. The episode, and near the beginning of the episode, when the president's like losing his mind, and the blood puddle appears in his mind, it looked really, really bad. Mm-hmm. Well, that was 480i standard definition. We were watching it on cable, blown up on a big screen 4K TV, so that's not gonna translate so well. It still didn't look very good when I turned around and rewatched it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But because it's supposed to be imaginary and all in his head, it looks a lot more believable in high definition than it did in standard.
Yeah.
The standard looked really bad. And it still didn't look the greatest. You could definitely tell it was like CGI and like fake blood, but it was also supposed to be his mind playing tricks on him, so I can kind of forgive that a little bit, because all the other blood in the episode of what was actually supposed to be real was all legitimately awesome. Like when Devon Sawa actually gets his death and the eyeballs are gouging out and the blood's all squirting up, and like it all looks good and legit, and it looks real. And Chucky kicks some ass right there, too, for being an old man, Chucky, Like, he's just like, and jumps up and like, and like, dude, that was, like I said, still, Devon Sawa gets the best kill of every season, and we still got 3 episodes to go.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited to see, maybe he gets to come back as another character again. Like, maybe he's a Secret Service character that comes back in an episode, like in the next episode, and then he dies again. Like, that'd be cool.
Honestly, like, I could see him coming back as, like, one of the ghosts. Because, the ghosts are going around, and all the people who had died in those previous episodes are, you see, like for, what's his name? The little kid?
Joseph.
Not Joseph.
No, not Joseph.
Henry.
Henry,
whenever he goes up to the painting, and then the blood's still there from that very first kill with the gun in episode 1, and it's there, but it's actually not there. It's just like everybody is like seeing different images of the people who died in the White House. So I could see him maybe coming back as like a ghost for sure. Especially since they're leaning into that angle, I could see him coming back as that for sure. And maybe some of the other characters that died too in the previous episodes, and that would be cool. Especially for like Mrs. Fairchild, the teacher that also like took the 3 kids in.
Yeah,
it'd be cool to see her back as a ghost too, because she died. I feel like she died way
too early on. Yeah,
that
was a quick one.
Yeah, there was more that could have happened. That one felt way rushed, and it didn't even feel like it had a lot of impact because it just happened. There wasn't like a lot of build up or tension build up to her dying. It just happened. So it'd be cool to see her come back as like a ghost or a spirit too.
Yeah. And so I actually liked, in this episode there was some interaction between Chucky and Tiffany, and not really, well, and I guess it is technically Tiffany, because Tiffany is inside Jennifer Tilly's mind now, right?
Yeah.
We're still in that, that nothing's changed with that, right? Mm-mm. Okay. So it was Tiffany, and she's on death row in prison right now, and she had no idea that Chucky was gonna die for real. Yeah. So that took her by surprise.
Yeah, I like that exchange that they had.
Yeah, that was a nice exchange there. So I'd like to see, I'm assuming she's about to figure out a way to get out of prison and maybe try to come help save Chucky.
Yeah, because she's been using those voodoo dolls that she used in like episode 3 and 4, and I'm pretty sure she's still using that one on the police, because that police was handing her like the cell phone saying, "Hey, he's calling again." So I'm pretty sure she's still kind of like under control.
Yeah, and I mean, she's like luxuriously living in prison right now, so yeah. She's definitely like got them voodoo dolls and got them people wrapped around the pinky with the dolls.
Yeah, and I like that. Like that feels like a, in this universe, it feels like a believable way for her to be able to get out is through the voodoo, which is still probably one of my favorite aspects of the season is how they're actually focusing on that. And it feels pretty serious, except for the stuff with the voodoo doctor. That feels the most like, okay, this is just like, it just feels weird whenever we're in his office. But besides that, when they're actually like focusing on it, it feels like it's actually like a serious like plot point, not just a joke, like the Voodoo for Dummies and stuff from the previous movies. Like it feels like they're actually taking it somewhat seriously, which I think one of my favorite aspects, especially when you realize it in this episode, is like Chucky's dying and Tiffany's on death row. So I like the aspect that they're both like on their way out. Technically, like they are both on their way out, which, like I said, I just like that. It actually feels like there's stakes, which is something that I had a big problem with in like season 2 when they killed the doll. It's the last doll. He came back again. It's the last doll. He was the Belle doll. Like that was something that, especially when he wiped off the Belle makeup at the end of season 2, I was like, okay, he's just everywhere. It doesn't ever feel like this is going to end. And this time, I really like what they're doing this time. It actually feels like it could end if it wanted to. Because
they've got us down to a final Charles, a final Chucky, one last doll, so to speak. So I'm pretty excited to see where this season's gonna finish because it's already started. We're already halfway through it, or over halfway through it now. I'm excited to see where it continues to go.
Yeah,
myself. So, you got anything else to say about this episode?
I mean, to wrap up my thoughts, I thought it was still good, but there was definitely just so much crazy, bizarre stuff that happened, especially with the supernatural stuff, to where I definitely need these next 3 episodes to explain and to tell me what's going on, or at least to try to draw me into that. Because that's definitely a part. When I was done with the episode, I was like, let's just see how they handle this, Yeah. But I liked the episode. I walked away positive.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I'm very excited to see where it goes this next week. And what we got 4 episodes all together, so we got 3 more.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how this season ends. So
yeah.
All right. Well, since the Chuck is back, we're back. So we'll be back somewhere within the next week after this video goes up to talk about next week's episode. Just like I said, be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button for us, and then hit that bell notification. You'll be notified about the next episode that we do. Until next time, we'll see you guys around.
Bye.
Bye.